This American Life. I'm Ira Glass. Each week on our program, of course, we choose a theme, bring you different stories on that theme. Today's program, need-to-know basis, stories of people withholding information in a way that has life-changing consequences. We have arrived at Act 2 of our program. Act 2, total eclipse of the sun. That's sun, S-O-N. Stay with me. That's going to make sense later. So the United States has a surprisingly high college dropout rate, particularly at community colleges, where only a third of all first-time students have their 2-year degree by the end of 3 years. Community colleges, by the way, are a huge number of students. Almost half of all American college students are in community college. We've done a bunch of stories about college dropouts on our show, most recently a couple weeks ago. Apparently, the first year is the key make-or-break time for whether or not somebody's going to drop out. Zoe Chase spent last fall on the campus of a community college in the South Bronx, Hostos Community College, reporting on what kids need to not drop out.
I was looking for that one student in the 1 in 3, the kid who succeeds. As soon as I saw Demetrius at the freshman orientation, I thought, oh, there he is, the success. Front row, always raising his hand, volunteering for the skits. And when I talked to him, he assured me I had found the right person.
If there is a valedictorian spot available, that is what I am trying to get.
That's your spot?
Yeah. And if someone somehow beats me out and becomes valedictorian, then I should at least be salutatorian. If someone somehow pulls that off, hats off to them. Truly, they're moving on to do great things.
I thought if I spent time with him, I could see what he's doing right. He looks like the 1 in 3. Because Demetrius has 2 things that are really hard to come by. Extremely high expectations for himself, and complete confidence that he will meet or surpass those expectations.
Throughout my whole life, I try at something. Not only do I get it, I usually sweep it. I'm vastly superior to most if I try at something. I feel like I could have been a great wrestler. I could have been one of the best wrestlers anybody's ever seen.
Doesn't matter what it is. Demetrius is always about to be a star. From the back, Demetrius is a grown man, tall and broad-shouldered in a leather coat. From the front, he's still a teenager, round, freckly baby face, 18 years old. His plan is to get his associates, transfer to a 4-year school, major in video game design, and then become one of the best video game designers the world has ever seen. Demetrius tells me he has not always done the work to match his high expectations. In high school, he says he did not always do his work, but this year he's serious.
I haven't let more than 3 hours pass yet of me getting an assignment and finishing it. If it's possible for me to finish the assignment within the 3 hours of me receiving that assignment, then I'm going to finish it. I simply can't allow myself to get behind. I got to be active. I got to make sure I get this done. And truth be told, I fully expect that I'm going to have one of the highest GPAs in the school.
So I started following Demetrius around, talking with him. I went to his classes, the computer lab, met his girlfriend. He's in love. One day, after months of this, at the end of the semester, we went to a meeting at the school with someone called a success coach.
All right, so let's just go over each class and just...
Regardless of your GPA, every incoming freshman at Hostos is assigned a success coach, someone to keep them on target. It's different from an advisor in that the success coach is more of a full-time catcher in the rye, someone who tracks their progress through the school year, and if they're falling behind, to figure out why and try to fix it. Someone to help them pick their classes each semester so they graduate on time, which is why we are here right now.
I'm here to see if my advisor can help me get into an honors English class because I've gotten all A's all semester, so...
Straight A's, all semester, as promised. So we sit down with Ray Cartagena, Demetrius' coach. He's in Navy Reserves, huge arms, tattoos. He makes Demetrius look little. How you doing? Straight A's. What do I need to fulfill my requirements? They lean over the computer together and look at his schedule.
Oh, no. It doesn't work.
It doesn't work? 12:30?
Then something happens I totally didn't expect. In the middle of registering Demetrius for his college courses, we call his dad.
Hello, sir?
Yeah,
How are you? My name is Ray Kaldahan. I'm Demetrius' success coach here, and we're trying to build a schedule for him now. We wanted to reach out to you and get your approval on it. So,
Demetrius's dad seems to take an unusual amount of interest in the minutia of his son's schedule. No 3 classes on one day, 1 class on another day, because then you have too much time on your hands.
I mean, I have a history with him and too much time.
I have a history with him, and too much time on your hands, he says, can lead to issues.
On your hands could lead to issues, so I'm like...
This is weird. Demetrius is acing his classes. His professors really like him. He spends a lot of time in the computer lab, and he wants to join student government. Why is his dad all over him? He's in college. If they can't find a better schedule for him, his dad promises, this semester around, I will find a way to occupy his time.
This semester around, I will figure out a way to occupy his time.
Demetrius seems a little embarrassed when we walk out. His bravado has kind of drained away. So I ask about his dad. What's the deal? We sit on a park bench. Demetrius stares straight ahead.
He doesn't trust me, so my dad is just stuck in, but he messed up once. It was one time in the history, once, that he messed up. Therefore, he will mess up every other time he attempts something for the rest of his life, because once he messed up. Once. And it was big. It was very big. It was very bad. Spectacularly messed up. It was really bad what I did. And then it's good. It's spectacularly good what I'm doing now. Like, it's really good what I'm doing.
The story about the once is about to spill out. And this story, it tells you a lot about why the graduation rate at community colleges is 1 in 3. How even someone as confident as Demetrius could become a dropout instead of the one who makes it. The once is theatrical. It's an elaborate mistake. And it's not a story about this year. It's a story about last year. Because when I met Demetrius, I did not know this is actually his second freshman year. His second time around as a freshman in college. The first time he went to college, it wasn't the South Bronx. In fact, it couldn't feel more different at Finger Lakes Community College. Woods, wineries, lakes, 5 hours north of New York City. His mom dropped him off.
And when she dropped me off and went back to New York, and I'm sitting in my room, I was like, I'm alone. Like, this is it. I'm here on my own now. It was somber, but at the same time, it was exciting. Like, I'm alone. And then I was like, I'm alone. My roommate hadn't gotten there yet. I was like, this is pretty awesome. Like, I stepped outside as if to test it. Like, opened the door, looked around, and I was like, I can just go. Like, just go anywhere. Like, this is good. Then school started, and I was like, okay, school's the main focus. I'm gonna make sure I do it. At first, I was, but then I started going to parties when I should be studying or doing homework. Started hanging out late. The Xbox One and PS4 came out, during that stretch.
Demetrius also noticed it's way easier to get girlfriends in college than in high school. But the big difference between college and high school, nobody is there to make you go to class. Nobody is collecting your homework. Nobody is making sure you're keeping up with the reading.
On occasion, I would just cut class and not go.
He says nobody seemed to notice. He got letters from the school. He ignored them. His grades were dropping. And then late into the semester, a relative died that he was close to, and he had to go back to the city for the funeral. He came back to campus, but never went back to class. He felt terrible, totally depressed.
There would be times where I would just be in my room, like I would just sit in there and cry. And at the same time, it made me feel worse because I knew I was failing. I knew I screwed up in my first semester.
Demetrius let everything slide. The checks he was getting from the government to cover his housing, he spent those. He only paid the rent once. He says he was confused about when he was supposed to pay what. By the end of the semester, there was nothing left. He owed a couple $1,000s. He saw his family for Christmas break. He could have confessed everything. He could have gotten help, but he didn't do any of that.
Obviously, I lied and said I did well in school and never brought up the debt.
And after Christmas vacation, that's when he got into some real magical thinking. He kicked up his deception to a whole new level. He was like, the circumstances of my life are on a need-to-know basis, and nobody needs to know. He thought he could turn things around all by himself and secretly handle this entire episode. Here was his plan. Get a full-time job at the Taco Bell, earn enough money to pay back the money he owed for his housing, never tell anyone what happened, and quietly re-enroll next semester.
Honestly, I never even registered for classes. I basically started living on the run. I was hiding out in my room, in my best friend's room immediately next door. I felt like, this is my mistake. It was my problem. I messed up, so I need to handle it on my own.
So, thousands of dollars in debt, college dropout, 300 miles away from his family. This was Demetrius's life. He copied a friend's transcript into Microsoft Word, changed the name to his, and texted it to his dad, like, see how great I'm doing in school. 3 months passed like this, and it might have continued for longer. Except then, that April, deep into Demetrius's would-be second semester, his dad decided to surprise him at school.
I'm talking to him, and he's saying to me, well, Dad, the weekend would be better because I'm not as busy with schoolwork and work. So the weekend would be great. We could do anything. I said, sure, no problem. I'm on my way. He has no idea I'm on my way.
Please meet the man from the speakerphone, the father of Demetrius Wilson. Demetrius Wilson Sr. He is a big guy, a sanitation worker for New York City. He is incredibly friendly, loves to talk. So, back in April, Demetrius, the dad, shows up at the school with his younger son, Elijah. It was Elijah's spring break. Their plan was to have a little vacation, drive around the wineries, after saying hi to Demetrius Jr.
He said, I'm in room 220, 222 or something. So I see these two girls in front of his door that he said, I'm like, oh, he's living a life. This is a good dude. I'm so proud of him. These two pretty girls are standing there. And I was like, are they going to, you looking for Demetrius? I thought they were going to say that. They didn't say that. I go up to the room. The girls take off. I ain't had nothing to do with him. I go to the room, open the door. So they're just sitting there. Hi. I see the video game on the big screen.
Demetrius stuck to the policy. Admit nothing.
I was still acting like everything's great. Like, oh, hey, Dad. Hey, great to see you.
And he says, oh, I would be in class, except it was canceled. His dad looks at him.
So, no class today? Teacher went sick yesterday? You just found out on a short notice? All right. We'll let that ride.
What are you thinking, though? Are you thinking anything?
Oh, yeah, right then, we got a thing called jukes. When someone running jukes, you can see it.
Running jukes, it's slang, like running a con game.
And people do it all the time. Like, they say something to you, you're like, that don't match up with what they just said. So you just keep it in your pocket until another thing come up.
So now they're watching each other, saying nothing, waiting it out. Next day, Demetrius' dad makes a move. Hey, I want to go to one of your classes. Let's go to one of your classes together.
He walk around, all the way around. Finally, we get to another part of the campus. He goes into an empty trailer. I'm on it now. Yeah. Now we ain't empty. No one's in the class. Class is cut off, lights off. Now I'm in there like this, sitting there. Elijah still don't know. So where's everybody? So he says, just 1 minute, and walks out the door. All right, homeboy, take me to the office. Huh? Take me to the office. Oh, it's closed. Well, then it should be a short trip. Take me to the office. If it's closed, it'll be a short trip. Right?
I can't stand it. Like, I'm so nervous.
So now like this. Get in there. Hi, how you doing? My name is Demetrius Wilson. Where is he supposed to be? His name is Demetrius Wilson.
The receptionist looks up Demetrius' name on the computer and goes quiet.
She looks at me, she looks at him, looks at me, looks at him, looks at the board, looks at the computer, don't know what to say. Sir, he's not registered this year.
Demetrius marches his son out to the car, shuts him inside, and takes a walk. And his thoughts are going 100 miles an hour. He kind of wants to knock his son out and drive away, but of course that's not what he's going to do.
I just walk, I walk. And I'm like, yo, man, you failed him. You should have been there, man. No, you can't hurt him now. What do you do, man? Do you hurt him? No, I don't hurt him. If you hurt him, man, then what do you prove, man? He can't be up here. Can he go back to school? This is me walking around the campus.
This is what he was thinking about. First of all, Demetrius's dad wasn't around for lots of little Demetrius's childhood. The parents broke up and he'd see little Demetrius maybe every few weeks or so, sometimes less. So when his son slacked off in high school, he blamed himself partly for not being there. Now his son is slacking off in college. What do you expect? Also, Demetrius's dad has a college degree, but his first time around, he dropped out when he tried state college in Norfolk, Virginia. He says he had this problem when he was young where he would come right up to the edge of being successful and then pull back. He knows how his kid must be feeling right now, how hard it can be to push yourself through your doubts.
I mean, for me, it definitely was like I could have done a lot more if I was pushed. I think what happens with a lot of people that whatever makes them go over that edge, it's more than just the talent and the intelligence. It's something else. It could very well be to follow somebody, follow a family member. They did it, I'm going to do it. The thing that's stopping them could be there's no one else that's done this. Who am I to think that I could do it?
So Demetrius Sr. comes up with a plan for his son, Demetrius. Nothing's going to happen in his life that I don't know about. I need to know everything. He decides to bring little Demetrius back to New York City, enroll him in college in the Bronx, 10 minutes away from his dad's apartment. Again, Demetrius's dad works for New York Sanitation, and his garage is directly across the street from where Demetrius goes to school.
Like, I'm on it in his school. I'm on it at his job. I'm on it at home. There's no you make the decision. No, I make the decision or we discuss it, but you don't make the decision and come back to me because who are you to make the decision? You haven't had that much experience.
Demetrius is on his dad's couch every night, at school across the street from him every day, on weekends at a job that his dad approves of, working as a cashier at the FAO Schwartz in Midtown. They check in every day, a few times a day.
The difference between Demetrius and myself, quite honestly, is that I didn't have me. The moment you say you can't do it, oh, I don't have to do it, there should be something to push you. And sometimes it has to be external. I don't think I had it externally. Mm-hmm. And I think internally I knew I could, but if someone, don't turn this way. There ain't no back. You gotta go. If he, for some reason or another, wants to stop, he's gonna have to work really hard at it. And he can't do it in my house.
There's a popular idea right now among people studying why kids drop out of college. There's this whole set of skills that students lack. Non-academic skills, like organizing their time, knowing who to ask for what. And that lacking those skills is one of the biggest reasons kids fail. And that's something schools are trying to address so they can keep their students. The way that lots of schools see it is that they have to develop their own Demetrius's dad. They call it an intrusive advisor or an enhanced advisor. Demetrius's new school, Hostos, they're trying this thing. That's what their success coach program is. When Navy Reserve guy Ray calls Demetrius's dad on the phone to figure out his one class on one day issue, that's intrusive advising, which in this case doesn't look so different from parenting. Of course, parenting can be a thankless job, and seems to be when it comes to Demetrius. He doesn't credit his turnaround from dropout to straight A student to his dad holding him accountable. Demetrius mostly gives the credit to himself, to a change in his own frame of mind.
I learned from my mistakes. I got rid of my mental whatevers that caused me to make them in the first place.
His dad doesn't care that Demetrius thinks he did it on his own. In fact, he's happy about that. He prefers that. He wants him to feel empowered and not overthink it. He wants his son to move on and not spend time reflecting on why he got stuck a year ago. That could stagnate his son, whose only focus is supposed to be doing well in school. I want him to just keep flying, he told me the other day. Not so close to the sun that he melts his wings, but just keep moving forward. Don't pull back. Stay in motion.
Zoe Chase is one of the producers of our show. Act 3, The Favorite.